What's up, y'all? What is really going on? What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? Hey, Kelly, love. What is going on? What's up, captivating? Just, just, just. Let me guess. You stealing Katie? Hey, Tenari. Hold on, y'all. Let me fix my phone because I don't want to. I don't want to have an episode, and let me fix it. Let me move something around because I don't need somebody saying that they saw my goods. Okay, so y'all, uh, it was pretty. I had a long day and just ran my errands and talked to some friends. I did some writing for like an hour and a half too. Uh, oh, okay. Tomorrow, can we connect tomorrow and you look at my laptop tomorrow evening sometimes, perhaps. Hey, number one caller. What's up, number one caller in the house? Michelle's daughter, Andrea. So do y'all, I was telling people, do I look different with all the hair on my face? Or do I look still the same? Phoebe, 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 Phoebe. Okay, don't ask my neighbors, baby. My neighbors heard a few things, so you wouldn't want to ask them because they would have stories to tell. What's up, John Stewart? Y'all, I'm so lazy today. Now, I'm going to catch up on my housewives and watch some news. I'm off tomorrow. I go back to work Tuesday. What's up, Veta? Let's see. Did somebody respond? I look the same. Okay. I'd be afraid to cut all my facial hair off. A man's facial hair is our version of a lace front. Because, baby, you cut some face hair. Some guys, when they get their facial hair cut off, they look different, very different. But okay, you've been lazy, Michelle Dar. Y'all hit the like button. We've been down this road. uh, yeah, John Stewart. They do be looking like they straight out of prison. He cut their facial hair off, but I wanted to get my face when you grow. I've always this grows really fast, so I have to. I wanted to give my face some time to breathe, because keeping all that facial hair, sometimes even when you wash it so much, I think that you just need to sometimes shave it just to, just let your skin, it's just, it becomes a lot when you have a lot of hair as well. Hey, Fedora. So I was going to tell a story. We have these little story times that I give you guys. Let me see what story time I'm going to tell y'all. One story, okay. One story time is the time I got left. I missed the bus. I went out and um, I had to give someone a hand job to get a ride home. But well, not I'm not gonna tell that story this time. Let me see. I said hand job. I didn't say head. I said hand. You know what? Yeah, shine some light up on me, y'all. Shine some light. But went out to the club, and my grandmother was telling me, she's like, "Where you are?" Okay, it was like about 8, 9 o'clock, and I was living with my grandmother at the time, and I was like 19, 18. I was 18. So I was 18 because I'm trying to see. This was like about 8 years ago. I'm trying to count. It was 8 years ago. So I was mm, okay, yeah, I was about 18. So and okay, so I'm getting ready, and my grandmother said, "You gonna hang out with them friends of yours?" When I was getting ready, I was like, "Yeah, ma, we're going out." And my grandmother would always worry because she didn't know. At that time, she knew that I was gay, but I hadn't just formally told her. In the gay, let me tell y'all something about black families. You know damn well that uncle, he does hair, have a little Pomeranian or a little Yorkie, haven't had a girlfriend since junior high. Well, he took a girl to the prom, but um, we don't tell our families. We don't really come out to our families like that. It's like an unspoken knowledge that we are. White people usually tell their families, "Mom and Dad, I'm gay. Mom and Dad, I have a lover." Black people, we take it with us for a while until they bust us or somebody say, "That boy's sweet." But hey, Lolo, okay, I'm gonna put my phone right here. I'm trying to, I'm trying to give y'all the money shot. Hold on, let me fix it. Damn it! I'm gonna have to prop this phone up. But anyways, so hey, the birthday goddess. Uh, I hadn't came out to my grandmother, so she just knew that my friends were gonna pick me up and we were gonna go out. Now, one of my friends, she said, "Baby, that baby got some Indian in him. He got some Indian in him. His people Creole." And I was like thinking in my head, "No, mud, that's that one B that he got from the Asian store down the street. Because that real hair is real kanky. The hair kanky. That real hair is like straight out of Nigeria." But she used to always say that for his friend of mine, Sindel, like he got hair like an Indian. Beauty, cold black hair. Your friend got some beautiful hair. That baby got some beautiful hair. Uh, you know, but of course, uh, then there was another friend of mine, Chris, but and Ava. So we were all going out that night, and they came to pick me up. Now, first off, when they came and picked me up, I was getting ready in my room, and I was taking my time, getting ready. My Ava is a girl. Now Ava has since came out. Now she's a lesbian full fledged. Then she was just putting her feet in the lady pond, and they say that girl could eat a beaver like she eats some chitlins. But Ava, um, she came, and I knew we were going to go pick up Sindel. Now keep in mind, my grandma had seen Sindel, but she really didn't hadn't been up close and personal with Sindel. So when they came to pick me up, when Ava came to pick me up, I just thought it was her picking me up at first. Um, I'm in my room getting ready, and I heard somebody saying, "Oh, that little girl got some pretty hair." Do you not know? I damn near pissed on myself because it was Sindel. I wasn't out to my family like that, and Sindel was clearly out. And they thought Sindel was a girl. Funny, because Sindel is chubby. This is funny as hell. Sindel is he was chubby then, so he was chubby and he had weave in his head. Uh, so they thought Sindel was the little chubby girl that looked like Missy Elliott. Um, and Sindel was calling himself the Black Cat at that time because he didn't know. Sindel didn't know if he wanted to transition to become a woman or stay a man. So he was at that in between stage. Um, and I didn't want my family to know that I was gay. At that time, I didn't. Sindel would come over and he would have like his hair spritz curled like salt and pepper. Baby, he would have like biker tights on that he got from the dollar store. And he looked like a girl. He was chubby. Gay men can get away with that when they're younger because their masculine features haven't really. He was still like at that time, like 17, 18. And he was chubby. So he would put little bras on, like a little girl bra, and he had little tits. But I hear Sindel talking to my little cousin Courtney. And I was like, fuck. Oh my God. I know Ava did not bring Sindel in this house. I'm like, she should have waited outside. Baby, I was in there. I threw some kind of my clothes wasn't ironed all the way. I got half ready. I left. My grandmother said, y'all be safe. And she said, baby, come down here and visit sometime because Cindy stayed in the neighborhood. And my aunt and my her husband, they stayed there at my grandmother's house at the time as well. And they were cooking in the kitchen and like they weren't really paying attention, but little did I know they took everything in because it was brought back up to me at another time. But I was like, oh, they really thought Cindy was a girl. So, I got by with that. Um, and so we go to the club. We went to this club called Uptown Downtown here in Houston. Had a good time. Ava met her stud. And the thing about Ava was one of those kind of girls that when women start messing around and with other women, sometimes you don't know what direction they're gonna go in because Ava was very tomboyish, but she wore makeup like like a straight woman. But she would throw like baggy jeans on sometimes or like baseball caps like a tomboy. Um, but she met her stud. She was in the corner with the stud. They were talking. Lesbians when lesbians meet each other, they probably move in with each other the next week. Because it's a running joke that we have in the gay community. What do lesbians bring on the first date? A U-Haul. So Ava was in the corner talking to this stud that looked like the brat. Sindel was running around, and Sindel knew people in the club. He had been going to the club. I hadn't been going to the club, and I had been a few times, but not many, because I didn't really like the black gay clubs. My first gay club I went to was a white gay club because I felt more comfortable around white gays than I did black gays, and I'm being totally honest. I thought the black gays were loud and messy as hell. They would probably know someone that you knew and they would put your business out to everyone. I just didn't. I didn't want to go to the black gay clubs. I was going to the white ones, but the white people did so many drugs and stuff, and they would be doing acid and coke in the bathrooms. So I wanted to get a black gay club a chance, and I had went before, and it was okay. But so Sindel was talking to different guys, walking around because he knew a few people. Ava was in the corner making, you know, they were probably like, giving their love quotes to each other. Uh, I was in a corner and I just looked. I was just in amazement. I was looking at the drag queens and I thought they were like, some were pretty, but some I was like, that's one ugly bitch. And I was like, they were doing numbers and they started doing church numbers. And it was weird to me to see these drag queens doing gospel numbers like Yolanda Adams and they were doing like falling to the ground doing splits, big drag queens 300 pounds doing cartwheels. It was like, so it was like Ringling Barnum and Bailey Circus the Soleil. It was very entertaining, but I was just walking around and I went outside because I didn't see Ava or Sindel. And I walked outside and I was talking to this guy, and his friends came up and they were asking me, where I'm from. And it was almost like a culture shock to me because I grew up in East Texas and then we went to Minneapolis for a few years. But we stayed in the hood some of my childhood, but I didn't see a lot of gay people. And when I would go off, like when I would catch the bus places, I always went to like the art district here in Houston. I would go to like the comic conventions because I was a fanboy. I collected Marvel comics and DC comics, but primarily Marvel comics. So I would hang around with those types of kids that, did all that. And, we would go to like the art fairs. So I wasn't exposed to a lot of the gay people I met were, like the yuppie type of gay blacks or whites. But when I went to uptown, downtown, the first time it was, yeah, definitely a culture shock. But I had a good time after that. But when I went with Sindel and Ava, it was probably like my third time going. And so when I met these guys out there, they were asking me, "Where you from, man? We never seen you around here. Is you trade?" And I was like, when they said, is you trade?" I was like, no, I like thinking, were they trying to say, was I a person known as trade? Because I didn't really know that term. And when I had heard it before, I didn't really take note of it because I had heard the word before. And when I heard it, I'm thinking that they were saying like trade, but they would be like, "Oh, I met trade." And it wasn't a lot of people. I only heard it a few times, but I didn't think much of it. I thought they were saying Trey. But when they asked me, "Is you trade?" I was like, "No." It's like, "So is you a queen?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" Uh, they was like, "Oh, child, he fresh. He new fish. This is maybe that's fresh fish." I was like, "What the fuck, fresh fish?" I was, you know what? Listen, I wasn't aware of all the gay lingo. So when they said fresh, oh, so this new fish, you're a little minnow. They called me a minnow, little fresh fish. And I was like, I'm none of those things. And like, well, child, baby, I'm House of Ross. It's a drag queen here named Tommy Ross. And it's like, I'm a Davenport. And this is what they were saying. I'm a Davenport. I'm a Ross. And I was like, bitch, I'm gonna be a gone. I'm gonna be gone out of y'all face because y'all hoes are crazy. But they turned out to be pretty nice people. Um, and I just was talking to them, and they was like, "Child, let's go down the street to this other club." And I was like, "How far away is it?" Because I had a road with Ava, so it was like, "Child, it's only 5 minutes. We can walk to the club." And I was like, "Okay, why not?" And I didn't see Ava and Sindel them, and I was like, "Well, we'll just go down there and come back." So we go down there to the club, and it was like a little. I was yeah, it's fresh meat. So we go down to the club. It was like a little hole in the wall. When I tell you, this club was the hole that was in the hole in the wall. Go down there, and these hoes wanted to go there because it was a trade hangout. I go down there, was four of them. We go in there, and it was these thuggish types of dudes walking around, and it was drag queens in the bathroom giving BJs, and somebody on side of the club fucking. You know, it was that kind of place, a place a girl could call home. But I think that Trey Trade is a guy that is primarily like looked at as being bisexual, but um, and they're not really out. They're bisexual and they mess around with gay men on the side. So I I was in there and I was like, where in the hell have these hoes drugged me to? I was like, oh my God, is it gonna be like a raid or so? I thought like it was almost like I felt like I was in the club from the color purple back in those woods. Baby, these hoes disappeared on me. I did not know how to get back to the club because I wasn't familiar with that area that much. And I'm looking around and they was like, I met one of them came back and he was like, child, I was in there getting my life. And I was like, okay, baby, it's some fine trade up in here. And they was like, we can't do them queens. Baby, I ain't know they was talking about they not bull daggers. They were saying they're not bull daggers and you know, they come to this club because they want to get some trade. They want to get them a piece of trade for the night. And I was like, okay, when are we going back down here? Because I rode with my friends. And it's like, oh, child, we need to head back down there because the club is going to be closing in like about 10 minutes. We get back to the club. And because I was going to leave them when I couldn't find them, but I didn't know how to get back to the club because it was in the little area I didn't know, like I said. But we go back to the club. I'm looking for Ava and Sindel. They had left. I didn't have a cell phone. They left. And I was like, these hoes, they left me. I was terrified. Y'all, I I'm looking for them. Now the people I had just met, my good best friend, my new best friends I had met, we went down there and I was waiting on them while they didn't got their life with trades some in bathrooms and stuff. Um, those heifers left me because they didn't really know me. They had just met me that night. So they left. Ava and Sindel had left because see, Ava had met that girl. So they go to the IHOP. That's where the gay people would go back in the days, to the IHOP after the club closed. So they went to the IHOP and they were thinking that I was going to come to the IHOP because that's where all the gay people went. I just was like, oh my God, you know, what the hell am I going to do? I The buses had stopped running because they would stop running like at about 1:30. The club didn't close till like 2 o'clock. So it closed like a little before 2. And the other club we went to before had it closed later, but I was in the parking lot walking around, and the parking lot started getting thinner and thinner. And this was not in an area that was like a preppy, cute area that, it was like kind of hoodish. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do? I was like, and at that time, I didn't went to the club. Keep in mind, I was like 18 years old. So, and my house was further than how I didn't have enough money to catch a cab. I had spent money to get inside the club, and then I had to, of course, underage drink. But I was like, I just started walking. I started walking, and keep in mind, y'all, this was 2 o'clock. The buses wasn't gonna start running till like 6 o'clock, and I had no way of calling anyone. The stores were closed, and I walked. And why, of all places, I started walking in by the club was the host stroll. I didn't know, as God is my witness, I did not know I was in the host stroll because the host stroll usually be by the gay clubs. And I wasn't aware that this was the area that I was in. So I'm walking and cars were going slow, passing by me. Hey, baby, baby, you want to ride, baby? Want that dick? Want that dick up? They were saying stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God. The host role, yes. Lola. It was like old white men passing by me playing with themselves. And now I was just like, oh, I didn't know what the hell to do. I'm walking, I heard of drag queens walking by me with little, little little kitten heels on, and little baby doll skirts on, and these hoes built like linebackers. And I was like, I sat at the bus stop. It was a guy came and sat by me at the bus stop, and he was trying to have a conversation with me, and I was just not really feeling it because I was like, oh my God. My grandfather drew, he was driving taxi cabs, and I could have got a ride with my grandfather because he worked for Yellow Cab in the city. But how am I going to explain to my grandfather why the hell I got a red body shirt on and some you know some pants that were, and I was never like, when I it was like almost like a those girls that are like sanctified when they change clothes when they go to school. It's like when I dressed up to go to the club, some of my friends were like club kids. And y'all remember I was going to like the white gay club, so we tended to be more kind of eccentric with our dressing. But when I went to the black gay club, I still had like a body shirt on. I had a red body shirt on, and I had on some jeans that had tears, like some jeans that were like do y'all remember the jeans that we used to wear that had like the calf skin on the front, like patches? So I'm glad I can never find any of those pictures because they would be burned. But I had on that. So just imagine me walking up to my grandfather, you know, because I knew where to find my grandfather. Because hell, I didn't. The club after I walked, I was familiar with the area because I walked. It was in downtown Houston, but I knew where the Greyhound bus station was, and my grandfather would work by the Greyhound with the other campers. But I didn't want to walk up to my grandfather and be like, Paul, pops, I need a ride home. That was going to be one hell of a ride home and a lot of explaining I would have to do. But I walked around, I was dodging cars, And I remember walking and I heard some grunting. When I say grunting, I'm like it sounded like bears, a bear breeding with like a wild boar. And I peek around the trash dumpster. And when I peek around the trash dumpster, I see a drag queen booted over having sex with like a guy that looked like he was homeless or something. But yeah, I Lolo, I got left. I got left by my friends who I went out to the club with. So I left there, made the block. When I made the block, of course, a couple of cars passed by, rolling their windows down, saying I got $10 or can you help me out? Uh, all I need is 5 minutes. No, no. The usual stuff that someone on the cut would get. So y'all, oh my God, I they were building these houses and they were partly halfway done. Why did I sit on the porch of the house? Like I snuck in and I sat on the porch. It was a screened porch, and it was like the house was almost finished, but you could still walk inside. Yeah, I was scared, but I wasn't scared to because remember I grew up in the country, so I wasn't scared of like in being like in the dark area, but I was scared that hell, am I gonna get robbed or go to jail because they think that I'm out here trying to make some coinage. Um, so I'm sitting down on the porch of this house and I hear some noise. So I had company. I looked up and this guy was drinking some liquor out of a red, some type of cup. He walked over to me. He said, "What's up, young blood? What's up, young blood? What you doing out here?" And I said, I was waiting on my friends. They down the street. I was like, my friends, they down the street. And he was like, "Oh, okay, okay. You mind if I sit here with you for a minute?" And I was like, "Sure." Y'all, this little fat little thing sat down with me and he was drinking. He wasn't close to me or anything. He was sitting down and he was like, "You a sexy little thing." He said, "Nah, I ain't." He said, "I'm bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Uh, you family, you fam." And I was like, uh, yeah, I knew what family was. I knew it was a term for "are you gay?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, kinda." I said, "Well, I'm bi." And let me tell you, the running joke is there are some men that are bi, but when we're gay men, we usually say we're bi in the beginning because it's an easier pill to swallow because we're not comfortable saying we're gay. A lot of times, younger gay men will say they're bi, and knowing damn well they ain't seen a coochie since they came out of one. But I um I told him, I said, I'm kinda. He said, "Oh, okay." He said, man, them hoes was fine tonight. And he was trying to have conversation. I was like, okay. He said, "Man, you was in the club. You was in the club." I said, yeah." He's like, man, them hoes. He kept saying, "Them hoes was fine. Them hoes was fine." And I was thinking, like, what hole you saw that was fine? Because them bitches I saw all looked like they could have been working for the New York Giants, or most was all linebackers tonight. They were talented. Let me say this. They were talented, but it was weird for me. Drag queens to me were like an oddity. I wasn't accustomed to seeing drag queens. There was like maybe one or two that looked pretty, but a lot of them to me back then, they looked like just men that was playing in makeup. They weren't like how the drag queens looked in today because makeup has come a long way. But hell, these them hoes look like they could have been like, throwing a football or shooting some hoops. But he said, man, them hoes, man, after seeing them hoes, man, that stuff made me horny as hell. And I was like, when he said it made him horny as hell, I just like my neck, I just felt like the hair on the back of my neck stood. And I was thinking, what I just started looking around and I was like, where is some fucking weaponry? What could I use as a weapon? I was thinking, okay, if I have to break something upside his damn head, what can I get to? What can I pick up? Is there something that I could grab to gouge his eyes out? Is he's too fat? He couldn't catch me. I mean, I have to watch his body language before he try to spring and grab me. Can I kick him in the balls? Grab his nuts. But he was just like sitting down. He kept drinking that liquor. And he kept saying, he was like, man, when I was fine, them hoes was fine in there, man. Them hoes was fine. They making a nigga got hard then. A nigga got hard seeing all that. And I was like, where the hell is this going? Where the hell is this going? What the fuck did I get myself into? Why didn't I stay at this club? Why did I walk my ass down there with them wenches? Why am I in this situation right now, sitting up at this house that's not even done, where I shouldn't be because I could go to jail for trespassing? And this guy is sitting here with me, and he was like, man, I need to take a leak. I need to take a leak, man. So he got up. Now keep in mind he had talked to me, and it was like about 3:30 by then. He got up, walked to the side, and started peeing. Came back and still had his shrimp peen hanging out. And he was like, man, look what them hoes. This what them hoes do. I be seeing them hoes. And I was like, boy, if you don't put that little small embryonic shit back in your pants, the head of a damn soft shell turtle, I was like, you know what? Y'all, I was so, and I was scared, but again, I knew I could defend myself because I wasn't like some delicate little rose. You guys may see me and you think I can have like royal heritage or something because of how, you know, graceful I am. But below the surface, I'm rough. And I was thinking, if we gonna tear this damn house up. If he try to come on to me, if he try to do anything, what can I do? Because he's bigger than me. If this motherfucker fall on top of me, he's gonna crush me. But he he had an erection, and he was saying, "Man, when them hoes, man, I'm gonna have to jack off." Oh God, I don't mean to talk like this to y'all. I'm not accustomed to using this type of language, but he said, man, you mind if I bust one off? You mind if I bust one off?" So of course you catch more flies with honey. I didn't want to upset this man because listen, I didn't know if he had a weapon on him. He could have pulled the gun out. Uh, so I said, yeah, man. I said, hell yeah. I said, and this is what I started in my head. I was like, okay, let me trick his ass because if I make him be comfortable with me, I can beat a hasty retreat. I told him, I said, yeah, man. I said, hell yeah. He was like, okay, man. Why did this man start pulling out tissues and fucking towels and little handkerchiefs and wash rags and stuff out of his pockets and out of his jacket? And he pulled his pants down and sat down. I said, let me go piss. I said, I need to go pee. I said, y'all, why when I went around that corner to pee, I ran my ass through that gate and got the hell up out of there. I left. You would have thought I was a road runner on the cartoon because you saw some smoke behind my ass. I took off And I left, and I saw a United cab because we have yellow cab and we have United here in Houston. So I saw a United cab because they're blue and the yellow cabs are yellow. So I knew it wasn't, if I saw a yellow cab, it would have been my grandfather. Or, I was not just him, but the cab drivers all knew each other. So if it was a yellow cab, they were bound to know George's, I didn't want it to be someone that knew my grandfather because before I had ridden with my grandfather in the cab when I was younger, and I met some people he knew. And so they were like a family. But when I saw the United cab, I flagged the cab down. And the driver, the man, he was like, you know, what's the young man, what you doing out here? Where you need to go? And I was like, well, sir, I need to go to the north side, but I only have $12. And he was like, $12? Man, that's a $20 cab ride that you need to go. That's $20, $30 cab ride. I was like, sir, I'm not from here. I need and I'm scared. I wasn't scared, but baby, I was about to make the tears come because I was, listen, I knew I had to do what I had to do to get home. And I was like, you know, uh, I got left down here and, I don't know my way around this city that much. And I need a, I'm not familiar with this area. Oh, come on, young blood. Come on. I'm going to do this for you, young blood. I'm going to do this for you because I like looking out for my people. I like looking out for my people. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. I'm going to give you a ride. You got that money. You got my money. Everybody gave him that money. I jumped my ass in that car. Baby, I was like, and the next day I cussed them whores out. But I understood they was like, well, we looked for you. Why did you leave the club? And I was like, I didn't think we were gonna be down there that long. And then y'all left what? They said, well, we almost stayed to the end of the club. They left only like 5 minutes before the club closed. I brought up the sad eyes, y'all. I was like, I don't, I'm not from here. I'm scared. I, I'm not. Y'all, but I'm telling y'all, Houston back then it was scary because people were getting killed. They were killing gay people and they were robbing people. Hell, I didn't. It could have been a car full of men and they like raped me or something. That may not have been that bad, but I mean, still, your life. I felt my life was on the line, and I if y'all could have saw this guy, he was creepy. He was very. Let me describe him. He was like probably about 5'10", about 5'9", but 5'9", and he had like a big old pot belly. Like he was maybe probably like about 280, 300. Had on like some Cedric the Entertainer type of clothes on. And I was just like, and then I'm walking, seeing people behind trash dumpsters having sex on side of buildings, giving BJs, people jumping in cars. They thinking I'm gonna jump in the car. They think I mean, it was like to say, when we went out again, I stuck to them like Velcro. Um, because I remember people did, I knew someone that got killed, and this was years later. This drag queen, his name was Cinnamon. Cinnamon would work the beat because a lot of gay people weren't able to just get jobs like regular straight people because Cinnamon, he was another person. He was like he lived his life kind of like somewhere in between. transitioning and being just like a gay man. He was like he had started taking a lot of gay men back in the days, they would take birth control pills to get breast. I knew people, they would get their mother's birth control or their sisters or aunts' birth control, and they would take the birth control, and the estrogen would make them grow little breasts. Now, their breasts didn't get to like a C cup or anything, but they would get to like a small, like a B cup or like they would get little breasts like a pubescent girl's breast. Um, but it would also make their immune systems. It seemed like when they took the estrogen and the way that they were taking it, it would make their immune systems weaker for some reason. And I so Cinnamon would be down there working the beat, and Cinnamon would have to have sex with guys because he couldn't get a job at regular places because they were it was a different time for gay people in Texas. You know, it was in Texas, a neighbor, it made national news. There was a person that reported his neighbors having I forgot it was a man or woman, reported the neighbors having sex. And the police came in there and the guys were caught having sex and they were arrested. They, because this was a sodomy law of some sort that was on the books. So Cinnamon would be working the beat. Hey, hey, Doreen, the Jetson sheets. No, 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 no. My sheets, it has the tree of life on my pillows. My sheets are blue. I like the, you see, you notice my pillow it has a tree on it. No, it's not the Jetsons because I like, it goes with my picture. But I, my, Cinnamon was in the parking lot of a Walgreens, and it's a Walgreens that I go to sometimes that's near the medical center here in Houston. And he was on camera walking up to a car, and you saw the images were very grainy. So you see him walking up to the car, and you see like some fire come from the barrel of a little pistol. He fell on the ground, and he was they killed him. It was two guys, two black guys that killed another black person. So I I knew the area. That area had been, there was a guy that was abducted in that same area that was kidnapped um, by a group of teenagers. They wanted to go to the gay area and they wanted to get some money because it was well known that all gays have money. They had the impression that gay men had money. So they came in and they got this guy that was going to the ATM machine. They got him, took him, tortured him, killed this man. And these were all people from the north side of Houston that I knew someone that knew someone that knew them. Everybody knew someone that in it. And the strangest thing was the stories that came back that one of the guys was on the DL. One of the killers was on the DL, but it was him, his homeboy, and two girls that did this. So for people like that, I know there's a special place in hell for those types of people. If there's a hell, they have a place reserved for them. But and that's how I even, the scary thing, the crazy thing is, I found out about the gay clubs because of the white man that was abducted and killed. I didn't know how to find a gay club. I didn't know where to begin. But the name, ironically, the name of the gay club that I went to first was called Club Heavens. It was Club Heaven. It was a white trans. They played a lot of techno music, or like Madonna, and you know, like just it was very techno and very like Donna Summer. They played that kind of music. But I think that when I went to that club, yeah, someone had got abducted there, but hell, that was my only window to a place. That's the only because I saw on the news the name of the club, and I was like, okay, that'd be my first gay club. But people were like, well, why would you go to the club where a person was abducted? Well, you think they're gonna come back and get someone else? Plus the people were found shortly after that happened. But I, I just thought that whole experience with me being at the club in that area, I just thought like, wow, people don't know what you've experienced or what you've seen, and you know, I knew, I knew this trans girl named Alexis. Alexis was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful green eyes, long wavy hair. Alexis was Creole because she always would tell everybody, "I'm Creole, I'm Creole, baby, I'm Creole." But Alexis had a little dangerous habit and game that she liked to play. Alexis was one of those girls that was unclockable, looked like a woman, had breasts. He had actually got hormone. He was on hormones. He had breasts, but he still had the equipment downstairs. But Alexis had a habit of fooling the boys. Alexis would meet guys on chat lines and he would say he was a girl. She would say she was a girl. Um, Guys would go out with her. She met like this guy that was Dominican. Y'all, we were at her townhome and I met Alexis through one of my friends, which was Sindel. I met Alexis through Sindel and another friend. And we all went out. And I was around people that were like drag queens and regular gay men. At first I didn't like drag. I didn't know what to make of drag queens. But after I had been around a couple, I was like, oh, okay, well, they're cool. Okay, they're funny. And that was it. But Alexis looked like a straight woman. And, but we were at her house, her townhome one time, and she brought a guy home. And she was like, I want y'all to go upstairs. I got Trade coming over. And I was like, what the hell? And this is the first time she had did that around me. I knew that she had a habit of doing that. So we go upstairs, and you know how those townhomes, the upstairs is like an open area, like they may make it into a game room, but you just walk upstairs and the area is open. There's no door. You may have like a railing up there, but we were upstairs. Do you not know Alexis brought this guy in the house? The guy didn't know she was a man, and she performed oral sex on him on the couch while we were upstairs. And I was just thinking, you do know we could all be killed in here if this man reached down there and he feels something that, not supposed to be there in his mind. He would go crazy and hell, he would kill everybody because he wouldn't want any witnesses. That's what I was thinking. I was like, are you? Because when she said, I got Trade coming over, and she was like, y'all go upstairs. Y'all don't say nothing. Because he don't know my tea. He don't know my tea. And it was me. It was this drag queen named Pookie. And the other guys were like regular, like gay guys like me. It was like three other guys. And then it was Sindel too. But so it was like about five of us upstairs. And she's performing oral sex on him. And he was telling her he wanted to have sex, and she kept saying, I'm on my period, I'm on my cycle. She kept saying she was on her cycle. I'm not that kind of girl, but you just gave him a BJ. But um, The guy left, and I was like, Alexis, you could have told. That's dangerous. You know, you put us at risk doing that. And she was like, oh, child, they don't know my tea. I be tucked. Alexis said, baby, I be tucked for the gods. Baby, she used to throw like 3 or 4 pairs of panties on. And she'd have that piece of hers tucked so deep and hidden so well, it could, baby, even Houdini couldn't find her piece. But um, Alexis ultimately got on drugs really bad, which a lot of people in the lifestyle tend to do. And I think she got on drugs because she was coping. You know, she was partying. You know, she had to be drugged up to go out, and she did like shows and stuff. She was performing. Um, but when I saw that, it was a bit much for me. I was like, okay, I'm not going back over to Alexa's house because, you know, you hear stories of, you know, someone that's, you know, you didn't lie to this man and he found out that you're really a man. You can be killed because you led this person on and you don't know if he was a homophobic person or you tricked him. So in the process of killing you, hell, he gonna come up there and probably try to rob you after you and run into us up here hide and shoot all our asses. But another person that was up there was the girl I told y'all about, Pookie. And Pookie was also transitioning, and Pookie died years later from complications. She got AIDS, um, and you know, other things played a part. You know, she started doing drugs as well. But a lot of those girls, they would have to resort to doing stuff to make ends meet because once you started transitioning, a lot of those jobs, you know, people were very bigoted. They didn't want, they just looked at you as something they, you know, weird, and you were ungodly, you know, you were blasphemous. And it was sad because I remember losing a lot of people that I knew, um, because they were just, a lot of them, and I was always square. I didn't do drugs. Um, I grew up, and I tell the story. There were people in my family that suffered from alcoholism. So I always said that I didn't want a substance to control me. So I could be around people doing powder. Some of those people would be doing powder. They would be popping pills. Um, and I would be like one of the odd people out. You know, my friend Sindel didn't do drugs either, but a lot of the other ones did. And you know, they're not here now, the most of them, because when you're on drugs, you're liable to do anything. So when you're high, sometimes you do a lot of risky behaviors. You know, you're not going to make a person wear a condom, or you're not going to, you know, you sharing a needle with someone, or it was like really, you know, you would see people. I remember during that time period, a guy, um, very attractive guy, nice, friendly. He would back up dance for different people. He was like a classical trained dancer. But I remember seeing him one time, like it probably like the time period of like 6 months I saw him after I had seen him last, and he looked like a total different person. He was very emaciated. Um, he had thinning hair. His skin had like a grayish um, tint to it, almost like it was like he was dehydrated almost. So his skin had gotten dull looking. But when I saw him, ultimately I saw him in a wheelchair. Now you can see a person. Just imagine knowing somebody that's so full of life and just laughing and, you know, friendly to everybody. and you see them in, 6 months, probably like no, probably about 8 or 9 months. And when I saw him, you're in a wheelchair, you know, frail. It's like when people would get infected, they would like it would just take them out like that. And when I saw him, I gave him a hug, and I was like, you could just you don't want to like see a person and cry, but it was like I was fighting so hard not to shed tears because it just hurt me to see him looking like that. And he wasn't like a good friend of mine. I just knew him in passing and speaking. And, just at the club, you just know people. They're like, hey, what's up? Hey, hey, hey. But I knew that everybody liked this guy. And it's like when you see him, it was like he aged so drastically within that time period. And I think when people would get on those drugs, the drugs would be so harsh that it would just strip the person's. It was like the drugs were so aggressive that it would make people have really really thin hair. Um, a side effect that they would get is like big lumps on the back of their neck, like fatty deposits. Um, but he had a different effect, which he had the hair loss, the thinning of the hair, but it's like uh, he was taking AZT, and it was that tore people up. They would like rather just waste away instead of be on the AZT a lot of times because it would make them have very bad like bowel movements. They would have diarrhea. Uh, some people would like hallucinate or just it was just that was a bad time. It was like the dark. A lot of gay people refer to that time like as the dark ages because it was like in that early like 90ish, at 90 when people it was like Madonna, the whole like that period of time, like when you look at Pose, and that's it's so dead on that when I see Pose, y'all, it's like I have to really some of those scenes are so powerful. Hello. Okay. So I have someone's charger that they left. Uh, so I need to take him his charger. Uh, he got on my nerves. I'm back, y'all. Can y'all see me? I'm back. I'm back. My phone is tripping. Y'all, I'm back. Oh, I didn't see you lately. Lolo left. I couldn't see that good, y'all. Yeah, so somebody needs their charger that I had in my car. So he's giving me he's gonna cash out me some money in my account to bring him this damn charger because I didn't feel like driving. I came out there to give it to him earlier today, but I was trying to rest. Hell, I'm glad I didn't take a Benadryl and was out cold. Yes, I'm back. I have to leave though because someone needs me to bring him his charger that he left. Uh, but I gave someone a ride and he left his charger in my car. Like, Lord, you can't call your boyfriend or your family. And this is somebody. that asked me to give him a ride, and he gave me a few gas dollars on gas, and I gave him a ride. He left his charger in my car because he had plugged it up in my cigarette lighter. So now I'm gonna take him his charger. But y'all, I appreciate y'all coming through for story time. Um, I have a few little golden nuggets of little story times to tell. Some will remain hidden forever. I did, but thank y'all. Peace. I'm out. Thank you, mods. My girl, Lynn. Let's talk tomorrow. And just can you come look at my laptop, or I can bring it to you. Uh, but hell, the night is still young, just like me. I may be on later. But peace, y'all.